What's up, people? It is 30 December, another week. We're live, we're kicking, and we are ready to rock and roll here on Niger Pulse Podcast. And as per usual, I'm here with Adela, but we're not alone today. We have a returning guest. I like to call him OG before IG. A respectable man in politics, a respectable man in Abuja, a respectable man in Niger. Welcome to Niger Pulse Podcast.
Despite all of this profile, it remains our very own humble Mr. Fobaje.
Mr.
But then,
Fobaje.
with all of this profile, we just, if you don't know, if we just pass by you, we don't know that's your prayer point passing by. So let us leave him to continue.
Divine
from that side.
helper.
Oh, wow. Sometimes I like coming here, but all this hype.
It's not just
Do you know how
hype,
much you
actually.
sent to us before we started this
Hey,
shoot? And it
Fobaje
was
don't
like,
press money.
hey, it was like for lunch, just for lunch, 6 zeros.
If anybody believes you guys, I have a house just in Banana. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Once again, my name is Ahmed Mustafa, and that's all that. I didn't give any 6 figures to nobody.
That's, guys, we'll never lie to you. We're always truthful on this podcast. So, hey, best believe that he's just trying to be humble.
To remain humble, yeah.
Right. OG before I.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to this episode of Niger Post Podcast. As we do it here, we bring to you informative and educative gist and the new things happening in the government sector as well. And this week, it's been a touch of Big Brother Africa. Yeah, when I say Big Brother, not that entertainment one you know about, but Nigeria being the Big Brother, playing the Big Brother role in what just happened in Benin Republic with the coup attempt and all of that. And a lot of people will say, oh, Nigeria is sending military coup to go and military troops to go and thwart the coup attempt in Benin Republic. While we're having a lot of insecurity here in Nigeria, have we solved our own problem of insecurity? Why are we going as far as Benin Republic to go and handle their own problems when we have a lot of problems back home? What do you think about that?
I think it's short-sightedness to say that. Let's play a scenario where your house is leaking during the rainy season, but then you wake up the next morning and find your neighbor's house on fire. And you say, oh, because I've not been able to fix my leaky roof, I will not help my neighbor put out the fire in his house. If that fire consumes your neighbor's house, the next place it's coming to is yours. So the leaky roof becomes a little less of a problem if your neighbor has his house on fire. And naturally, you rally around your neighbor, put out that fire, then you come back and focus on your own leaking roof. Because if you don't, you would have no roof that is leaking. By the time the fire is done,
burning your house down.
What that simply means is that Nigeria is facing an insecurity problem, an internal insecurity problem. But not completely internal, fueled largely by external factors. And what happened in Benin Republic has the potential and every capacity to create another round of insecurity in Nigeria.
Escalate what we have
Assume for 1 minute that the coup in Benin Republic goes through and the Beninois revolt against the military oppressors. You have civil unrest in Benin Republic, and then beyond insecurity, you have a crisis situation where you have a refugee situation in Benin Republic. 40 million Beninois are looking for safety. The nearest place they're going to go to are their neighbors, Oyo, Ogun, and Lagos. So you have unchecked migration of people from a warring country into your own society. These guys are going to come with their
armed forces,
their ability and their asset. If there's war, they'll most likely come with more liabilities than assets. So that's the problem you want to deal with. What Nigeria did is what every responsible country would do. Keep peace with your neighbors in a bid to keep peace within your own borders.
Okay, so I have a question based on what you said. So from what we saw, the news that we saw, they were very swift. And it showed that the Nigerian Army Force has all the equipment to curtail insecurity or a coup, right? Why haven't they done or applied that type of force within the shores of Nigeria?
Okay, so a coup is completely different from banditry. So a coup is a set of organized military men who have targets that they want to hit, and these targets are known. So it's easy to defend that. In 5, 10, 15 minutes, you can take out the coup plotters. The coup plotters in Benin Republic are, by my rough estimate, about 400. Boko Haram and ISWAP have millions of willing hands. So it's difficult. It's a lot more difficult to do that. And what Nigeria did in Benin Republic was what by military terms is called precise targeting. where Boko Haram and ISWAP are hiding in Nigeria is largely the Sambisa forest.
Yes.
The Sambisa forest is bigger than Belgium.
Really?
Yes. Sambisa forest is about 62 square
Wow.
kilometers. Belgium sits on about 30,000 plus square kilometers.
Wow.
So when people talk about banditry in Nigeria, some of us sometimes lack a clear picture of
Yeah,
what
but
we're
there are
talking about.
appliances right now that could make, the forces see what is beneath
Yeah,
the
it's not
forest.
even about the forest. Boko Haram and ISWAP have thousands of Nigerians, innocent Nigerians, trapped in that forest.
Yeah.
If you cap a Bombay, what you're doing is sentencing those people to
Yeah,
death.
yeah, yeah.
To death.
And
I
their
get
family
you.
members will not forgive you as a government to do that. If I had my family, one member of my family, God forbid, in the forest there, I would not support Kabe bombing the whole place and hoping that my family member will survive a military
Because you know the chance of survival is
is
slim.
almost zero. So you don't want to do that. When the military goes to war, there's something called rules of engagement. You try to
Yes.
limit civilian casualty to
To
the
a
barest
minimum,
minimum. What
yeah.
Nigerians are asking for will result in a collateral damage that we cannot deal with. What you then have is that these people's families will have a bitter resentment towards the government.
Yes.
They will pick up arms and continue the fight against the government for killing
Their
innocent
own
members of
people.
their own family. So you don't solve that problem that way. I'll give an example. Gaza, Israel and Gaza have been at war since 7th October 2023. Today is 10th or 9th of December 2025. It's well over 2 years.
Yes.
At the end of the day, Israel, the fourth strongest army in the world, had to negotiate with Hamas terrorists for the release of 28 Israeli
Soldiers.
hostages because it became apparently clear that you cannot solve that problem militarily. It's an ideological war. These people, Boko Haram, ISWAP fighters, are ready to die. They believe in their mind that if they die, they'll go to heaven and have 72 virgins. So you don't want to, there's in leadership something called kinetic and non-kinetic solutions. Why does Boko Haram thrive in Nigeria? Why does insecurity and banditry thrive in Nigeria? Because we have a huge problem with illiteracy and poverty. If you
Education too.
exactly, that's
Yeah,
what illiteracy.
illiteracy,
If
yeah.
you tackle that, you begin to withdraw potentials that Boko Haram can recruit into their army. Right now in the country, without sounding, so I'm from the north, so I'm allowed to say this because if I'm from the south, you're a bit more careful. There are over 12 million out-of-school children in the north. Each and every one of those 12 million children is a potential Boko Haram recruitee in the future. So we're sitting on a keg of gunpowder.
Yeah.
The problem is not the Nigerian military or its will to fight this war. The problem is that you have cancer and you're applying foundation and concealer.
Instead of treating the cancer.
Exactly.
But then
Yeah.
some Nigerians will argue to say all of these military troops sent to Benin Republic just to curb this or to end the coup attempt and everything. All of these things are done with taxpayers' money in Nigeria. This is December 2025, and by January
First.
2026, we are expecting a new
Tax
Tax
reform.
and this is causing a lot of social tensions. People are saying, oh, this government wants to just kill us. This government don't even want the people to thrive. And they are saying, okay, we want to expand our tax nets. And supposedly, we are supposed to use this to better our infrastructure, good roads, electricity, healthcare, education, and all of that. But then, this is a lot because people are looking at the tax laws and they are saying, is it that the government doesn't even want us to breathe? Because even people that are doing petty job, as far as you are earning above 66,600, I think, monthly, you are expected to pay 15% of tax. So expanding the tax net, despite the level of high cost of living, do you think this is a welcome development for the Nigeria system?
Yes, absolutely. There has to be a generation that bears the burden of
Yeah.
nation building. Fortunately and unfortunately, it's our generation that has to bear that burden. The generation of our fathers and our forefathers failed to bear that burden. We have a choice to bear that burden now or to pass it on to the next generation. There is going to come a generation of Nigerians who are going to have to pay the taxes there to build the roads, the hospitals, the schools, the infrastructure that we need to ensure that Nigeria can compete with third world or first world countries. Countries move from third world to first world, and how they do that is by taxing the population. Everywhere in the world, tax is unpopular. So I can understand the pushback from Nigerians. But what a lot of people don't understand is that this new tax regime didn't increase taxes that Nigerians are currently paying. What it did was to bring more people into the tax net. It means that you have a civil responsibility to pay tax in a country.
Yeah.
If you go abroad today, you will willingly pay
Want to
tax.
pay tax, yeah.
You can grumble all you want, but you will pay the tax and you will see the result of the tax that you're paying. So where we should have a problem is if by December 2026 we don't see visible development despite the tax that we're paying, then we can start saying, oh, why
Where
are we
is our
not?
money?
Where's the money going into? The moment you're not paying tax, you have zero right to hold the government to account.
So,
And
okay, yeah, go ahead.
if I might
Ladies first.
add,
Yeah.
I think that the fear of this new tax regime is driven by a lot of misinformation. And that's why I'm happy to be here. Maybe we can shed some light on some of the things that people need to know so that they are comfortable with the fact that you pay taxes and then you see the result.
Okay, so I want to be an antagonist for like a minute and just talk about the structure of
Just
what
a
Nigeria.
minute?
Just a minute, just this minute, and talk about the structure of what already is in play in Nigeria. We've been paying tax, and if you're traveling interstates, we don't get to see where our tax is going. Maybe in Lagos, you get to see some, good roads, cleaning of the roads and everything. But interstates, we don't get to see anything. And in some developing states, the roads that are being done, we get to see trending videos where they collapse or when there's heavy rainfall,
Yes.
it's being destroyed. So how do we trust this government to be able to step up when we pay more or they introduce more people to pay tax?
Exactly. This is where the problem lies. Like I said, you're not paying more. More people
Are
are
coming
just
in,
paying.
yeah.
So that we're clear on that.
Yeah.
Now, if more people are paying taxes, what it does is that a lot more people are now aware and conscious and demanding more from the government of the day. There are more people who are willing to hold government to account. The pressure on government to deliver is more. The reason why successive governments have gotten away with filtering our taxes because very few Nigerians actually pay taxes. Nigeria in Africa ranks, I think, 15th lowest when it comes to population to tax ratio in Africa. And Africa is the lowest when it comes to tax ratio in the world. In America, people pay up to 30-40% of their income as taxes. What we pay in Nigeria is around 13.5% as tax.
Now, I would say something, but then first I want to ask Becca one simple question because
You want to ask me?
He said something earlier. He
Yeah.
said it is left for our generation to accept this or push it to the next generation. If I would ask you as a person, would you want to accept that task now or push it to the next generation?
I will accept it now.
Or push it to the next
No, I will actually accept it. At the end of the day,
Okay.
maybe to make the future generation lives better is a gamble.
Okay, but then
Exactly.
gamble.
Okay, look at subsidy removal. We could have removed subsidy in 2011.
Yeah.
Then, as a Nigerian, I wasn't responsible for myself in 2011. People were fending for me in 2011.
because I know if I
Chilling,
ask
man.
him,
Yeah.
he will say he wants it now. But I know for many people they will say if they push him to me, will push him to another
another
people.
Person, yeah.
That's fair estimation. I'm asking myself the question: what would have become of Nigeria if we had removed fuel subsidy in 2011?
Things would have still skyrocketed. Inflation
But
would have
now,
still
the-
happened.
that's
Then by
it.
now it should have stabilized.
You think so?
Yes.
Now,
It is-
let's say it this
2011 to
way.
now is 14 years. It's more than enough time for us to have stabilized.
we are putting too much trust in Nigeria.
The rise in the dollar would have happened back then. We would have struggled with it. We would have come to terms with it. We would have cut our coat according to
According to
our
our
austerity
side.
measures would have kicked in.
Yeah.
5-10 years later, the generation that come into money now will come into that regime where there's no
Option
free
than
money
to- yeah,
anywhere. They will
yeah.
adapt
But
themselves
now
to
talking
it.
about that high cost of living, you talked about our fuel subsidy removal that we should have done this since 2011 or thereabout. Now, this same year or this same administration, we are taking away fuel subsidy, we are taking away dollar padding, we are taking away, in fact, electricity tariff,
tariff.
everything.
Yeah.
It has increased. All of these things contribute to high cost of living that we're experiencing in Nigeria right now. Now saying, come January 2026, you are bringing more people into the tax net. Now, imagine somebody earning just 70,000. This person is expected to pay 15,000,
15%.
15% tax, which is about 10,500 naira. Now, somebody earning 70,000, even without tax, in the reality of Nigeria that we have today, that person will struggle to make ends meet. Now taking away 10,500 as 15% tax, don't you think these new tax laws will increase or we further make cost of living very hard for Nigerians. Yes.
You're right, but you're wrong as well. Your calculation is right there. If you earn 7,000 and above, you pay 50%
Yes.
of your taxes. But what that law also provides for is that you can claim certain relief, like your rent. If you earn 70,000, you can claim as much as 500,000 in rent.
Please educate us
Annually.
how we can claim that.
Okay, so when the government doesn't come into your account and put their hand in your account and pull taxes out of it.
Oh.
You declare your tax at the end of the year. So your revenue at the end of the year is looked at, and your expenses, income and expenses are put side by side. So if you earn 70,000 in a year, at the end of the year, you're earning 770 plus 70,000. That comes about 840,000. Yeah, about 840,000. Now, what this law allows you to do is to claim rent, because in that whole year, you will have paid rent.
Your rent,
So
yes.
your rent is taken out of your total
So you are
income.
saying tax is charged on net income, not
not
gross
on
income.
gross. So if they take out 500,000, which is provided for as rent from your 840, you're below the 800,000 naira tax bracket. People who have to pay tax. So you're exempted
So that
from
way,
tax.
that's
Even if you
amazing.
earn $1 million a year, if you earn 100,000 a month, that comes to 1.2 million in a year. If you claim 500,000 as rent, you're left with 700,000. You still fall below the bracket.
So that way you're not paying tax.
You're not paying
But
tax.
then talking about the small businesses, according to the new tax laws, when your business makes a revenue of about less than 50 million naira annually,
Yes.
you are not expected to pay tax. Now, don't you think this would just encourage people to be mediocre and just say, "Well, don't let me go beyond this small scale business"? Because the moment I start earning
More.
just 1,000 naira above 50 million naira, I begin to pay tax.
Yeah, you're right. You can look at it from that perspective, but the question is, has it worked elsewhere in the world? Have people been held back? Has growth of companies been held back by the need to pay tax? The answer is no. So why should Nigeria be different? Nigerians are inventive. We are productive. What will happen is that by the time you hit 50 million in taxes, you find out you're paying taxes about that 50 million. What you want to now do is that, okay, I've gotten to this point where I'm paying taxes. You're then free to grow to as big a company as you want to. If you want to stay below the tax bracket, I feel that every business is looking for growth in as many ways as possible. I do not think that the fear of taxation will hold anybody back. It's like saying that you don't want to grow up because you're afraid of responsibility.
It goes still means you go for
But then,
Yeah.
just like individual earnings, there's tax exemption when you talk about your rent and all of that. Is there any form of tax exemption for businesses?
Yeah, like we just said, small businesses, which are the bloodline of the economy. Every business that earns anything that earns an annual turnover of below 50 million. So it means the regular market woman, the tailor, the carpenter, the welder, all those people, if they have a registered company, are exempted from taxes. So what that does is that what you find in Nigeria right now is that a lot of people who are operating businesses are unregistered. They're operating those businesses from their own personal account. What you then find is that these people now have to go and register their
Those
companies with the
businesses,
CAC.
yeah.
So we're able to track who has jobs and who does not. Because when people put out the unemployment figures in this country, sometimes I'm astounded. Somebody sits down in her room and is selling the kind of hair that Becca is wearing. Lovely hair, by the way. And she's making 10, 20 million. But
And
because
she's still saying she's unemployed.
She's unemployed because she's not going to a 9 to 5. She's not captured under the employment bracket. People think about
But the government did not provide the job for her, so what?
it is not the responsibility of
But the
government
government
to provide
provides the
jobs.
enabling environment.
Yeah, it's not the responsibility of government to provide jobs. In every economy that has grown in the world, government doesn't provide jobs. Government only makes businesses thrive. So how do you do that? If your customers don't have enough money to patronize you, then you can hold government responsible.
Yeah,
If there is insecurity, and maybe
you can hold the government
If
responsible.
you're in Abuja,
yeah.
you're doing business in Abuja, and your customers can say, "Oh, send a delivery man to come and deliver my hair to me in Gwarimpa from Asokoro," and the roads are good enough for the delivery man to be able to come.
Pass through.
That's what government does. It's a
Okay.
linkage. Government, it's an anomaly, the Nigerian system, where we expect government to be the largest employer.
Yeah, but
of
certain
labor.
times when people come into power, they promise you a low rate of unemployment,
Low rate of unemployment means they will give opportunities for
infrastructures in place.
businesses to grow. Like what I just told you now, if businesses start springing up in this country, what you find is those businesses have to employ people, and then you drive down unemployment that way.
Now, I saw a statistics online about this new tax law, and they said for come 2026 now, January, failure to register your business or make your income transparent enough for the government to be able to tax or not. Now, failure to register is 50,000 naira fine. I saw another one, assaulting a tax officer. Maybe in the process of maybe you've evaded tax and you are being caught, and maybe it leads to a fiscal, and you assault a tax officer. That will earn you 10 years imprisonment. And another one, serious tax evasion. Now, it will be a fine of about 10 million, up to 10 million naira. Now, putting all of these things in place to make sure everyone is captured in the tax net, that is, people that are supposed to be captured in tax net are being captured. Is there any way or any form of transparency that people can also say, okay, now that we are paying the tax, how can we monitor if our taxes are being utilized?
Exactly. The government has to create that dashboard where you collect taxes. We know how much you've collected. We know how much is going into what. This is something that applies in the most advanced countries in the world, right? Taxpayers hold government accountable.
Exactly.
And government has to, if you're asking businesses and individuals to open their books, they say he that comes to equity must come with clean hands. So government also has to display the same level of transparency that it's asking for the people. It will be disingenuous of government to ask Nigerians to be forthcoming with their taxes, and then government is now trying to play hanky-panky when it comes to government revenue and tax
transparency.
It will be, and the good thing about it is that we need conversations like this or engagement like this or pressure like this on government for it to deliver. You then realize that if you're taking taxes from people, these are not just going to sit back and carry on as business as usual. Oh, whatever they do.
Government, what are you doing to...
Exactly. So if you collect my money,
I must be able to see what you are using to do.
Government then becomes like a private entity.
Are the politicians also going to pay their own percentage of tax as well?
Exactly. So these are the questions that people should be
asking.
Now, you talked about mounting pressure on the government so that what are they doing with the money should be the real question on everybody's mouth. By December 2026, like you said, if we don't see tangible things being done with our taxes, is it now okay to justify any protest action?
It will not be the first time Nigerians will be protesting for taxes. The women in the Egba women protested against taxation even before independence.
Yes.
You know, there was the Aba women riot, protection against taxes. So it's not new. And I fully expect that if people don't feel the impact of the taxes, they hit the streets.
Okay.
I fully expect that. It's a give and take situation. You know, it's not a master versus servant situation.
Yes.
You are a custodian of public funds. And that public fund does not come from your pocket. It comes from collective donations from people. That's what I view taxes as. Yes, there's a minimum you must donate, but it's still donation.
Yes.
So you put those taxes forward and then you ask questions. Where most Nigerians feel is that once we are done paying our taxes, we turn our backs and slip off and allow those who are in charge.
We're so complacent of everything that is being thrown at us.
Now, I hope that because a lot of people feel like this tax regime will hold them by the neck.
Yes.
If it does that, I hope that we also have the effrontery to hold government by the neck as well.
True that. So let's talk about
Aura for
Aura, period. So let's talk about VAT rates now. So the VAT is being kept at 7.5% and it's expected, or it has been expanded rather at the base, and it's being tightened with compliance and removed, or they've removed some input recovery pretty much. So the question I want to ask you is, so if these rates didn't change, why should Nigerians believe these reforms won't quietly push up the cost of living?
No, okay, so I'll give an example. The VAT didn't change, like you said. What else didn't change? What else has changed that would lower the cost of living is that some essential commodities have been exempted from VAT. Pharmaceuticals, healthcare products, education.
Some prices of goods too.
Every food item.
Yeah.
And you watch it. When we're talking about small businesses being exempted from taxes, I forgot to mention to you that agricultural related companies, if you're a farmer, poultry, crop farming, fishery, whatever, you're exempted from paying taxes.
Really?
Yes. So what that does for government is that government can then say, okay, if you're not paying taxes, you can't charge VAT on what you're not paying taxes on. So if you go to an average restaurant to go and eat now, after eating the food, they give you the bill and then they give you VAT.
VAT, yes.
So it increases the cost of the food that you're eating.
Yes.
So government has taken that away now. So by January next year, when you go to your favorite joint in Abuja,
There's
they're
no
not going to charge you
VAT
VAT
rate,
anymore.
yeah.
It means your cost of living has reduced.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those people can use that money they're saving to employ more people to work for them. So it quickens the rate of speed of service delivery in those businesses. So all of these things are somewhat intertwined.
Intertwined,
You know,
yeah.
you find that the man who is farming cassava, because he doesn't have to pay tax to government, he has no need to increase the cost
Yeah.
of his cassava. So the person who is buying cassava to make fufu or gari also does not need to pay tax.
But what if he does increase the price of that thing because he's buying every other thing more expensive?
What other things is he buying expensive?
No, apart from his own family.
Rent is exempt. Okay, please explain to me. Rent is exempted from tax.
Okay.
You don't pay
Rent.
rent.
What
Yeah.
he's using for his poultry, the products.
They are all
Exactly.
exempted. They are all agricultural
Everything.
products. Yes.
Okay, I got you.
If his children fall sick and they go to the hospital, the drugs they are buying is exempted from VAT. So what
Oh.
the education of his children exempted from tax.
Everything
So,
pharmaceutical.
yes.
Okay, what about tax to GDP ratio now that is barely 10%, right? Partly because of leakages and weak administrative structures. I have two questions for you. What stops this reform from becoming a more sophisticated way to lose money just faster? Secondly, I want to give you another fact. Centralizing collection under the Nigerian Revenue Service is supposed to eliminate multiple taxation. Second question is, how does centralization solve corruption inside the system itself?
Good. I'll answer the second question
Yeah,
first.
first.
So when you have multiple taxation, anybody can wake up at any time and come and meet you and say, Becca, Adela, you are supposed to pay
This
this
tax.
tax, and you pay. Second person comes and says, but we paid to this person. And say, no. This was another one. You're supposed to pay this other one. And then you pay. We see these things happen. So if you centralize tax, it's like what government did with TSA, the single treasury account.
Yeah.
So it helps to monitor inflow into government account. If there's only one place we're all putting our eyes on to watch how much is coming in, it's easier for us to track that if you have multiple accounts collecting taxes,
Yes,
left and center.
yes.
So you know, I tell you this, that there are taxes that Nigerians have been paying that they have no
And they-
business
and they don't know.
Business
paying.
pain.
At the end of the day, what these tax reforms will do is to save more Nigerians from paying illegal taxes that they've been paying. That people will just wake up someday and print receipts
Yes.
and come to you and say you are
Pay
paying
this
this tax.
thing.
And because you don't have the information, you don't even know what tax you should be paying or who you should be paying it to. In fact, the tax can even be legal. But people who are coming to come and collect it are collecting it
Yes.
under a disguise.
Yeah.
They collect the tax from you and they walk away. Right now, you can sit in the comfort of your home and pay your taxes online. Once you print your tax receipt and then you start. When the tax inspectors come, they don't collect the tax
I don't
from
want
you.
to go house to house.
But that's how they do. That's how the IRS does. They don't need to go house to house. They also have a central monitoring system. So when they
They'll
notice
be
that,
monitoring people's accounts.
no, they are monitoring their own account to see who and who are paying. Your company is registered with the CAC, right? The CAC supplies the record of your
The
companies.
question, Sha, but go on.
So let me explain this to you, the way I understand it.
Okay.
The IRS has a dashboard that shows every business and every individual who earns money in this country. So if you pay your tax, you have what they call a TIN, a tax identification number.
Number.
So your tax identification number shows that you've paid it. From their system, they can tell that, Mr. Babaji has paid. Becca, who is skeptical and looking at me one kind,
Shall
she has
speak.
not paid. Then the next thing you know, a complaint is sent to your house to say you owe government so and so amount in taxes. You need to pay up in so and so time. If you don't pay up in so and so time, there's a fine that accompanies a delay in paying your taxes. They can tell that from their system. They can't be coming to your house and be asking you, how much have you paid? Look at the electricity, the new electricity tariff now. You know, gone are the days when NEPA used to come to your house, come and show me your
Check,
bill.
show me
And
your
they-
bill, yeah.
They don't do that anymore now.
Yeah.
They can tell now if you pay your
paying.
or
Or
not
not.
pay. They can tell. So
But-
the same system applies. Technology is making life
Easier.
way easier.
Yeah, but sorry, Adela, it's just something from what he said. Sorry to cut you short.
It's okay.
So I know that they are saying influencers, content creators have to pay tax. And then they're also saying people that work remotely as well have to pay tax. I want to know how they intend to track it, because first of all, they did not create the room for content creators to make money.
They did.
Content creators made away from themselves from an economy that wasn't making things work for them.
I'm coming. You know, your government can put a lien on Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok. right now. So how then do you create that content?
Fair
Government makes that.
point.
And wait. The communication infrastructure that you use, Do you own it?
No.
It's owned by MTN, Airtel,
Telecommunication
and whoever,
companies.
There's the NCC that works hand in hand with them to ensure that they deliver.
Which they still
service.
take out of that for our tax that we pay. And
Wait,
they still,
exactly.
Wait.
data, we pay for it.
Yes. Oh, you want data free of charge?
But at the end of the day, they still take tax out of the data now.
I'm coming. You want data free of charge?
No, but at the end of the day, we
from
pay
the data
more.
is being taxed.
It's been
Yeah,
taxed
of course.
now.
Okay,
Exactly
so
my point.
Wait.
So they are still
So
taking
it's like
from us.
it's like paying multiple tax.
Yes.
Because the data
No.
you are using is being
So
taxed.
Wait,
they
wait.
take from the
Adela,
data and they
okay.
now take from our revenue. Double tax.
No, it's not double tax. I explain it to you.
Okay, please go
They
ahead.
don't tax you as an individual for your data. They tax the telecommunication companies. The telecommunication companies have to
But
pay
we
their
bear
tax.
the final brunt because they will increase the rate.
Well, there's that.
And then they will still take
But-
out of it.
No. Are you asking that government should exempt telecommunications from tax?
No, but at
So-
least they should regulate those.
No, they are
telecommunication
regulated.
companies.
That's what they say. That's what the NCC does. So telecommunication companies will have to pay taxes. There's no way around it.
Yes.
It's like asking transport companies not to pay tax. So that because you want cheaper, what you then find that if they don't pay tax and it's cheaper, the services become really poor. And then you end up still complaining. There were days when we had edge in this country and we moved to 3G,
Yes,
2G,
yeah.
3G, 4G,
4G,
now
LTE,
5G.
yeah.
So, right now you can sit down, you're in comfort of your... There's almost nowhere to go to in this country where you don't have internet services. It might not be as good as some other areas.
But something
the
crossed
penetration is
my
spreading.
mind. Something crossed my
Let
mind.
me
now.
answer the question that
The
Juliet
first one, yeah.
asked. The first question, which was that... Remind me your first question.
Give me a second. I wanted to ask you another one.
Ah.
But wait, but something
So the
crossed my
first
mind
one
now when
is
we're
okay.
talking.
Adela asks,
Yeah.
then I'll ask him.
And is the fact that all of these taxes, it is only okay for the government can only monitor these taxes when you are collecting these monies in your account.
Yes.
Imagine a person that doesn't even use bank. We know we have few people who don't use bank, but then there are still people who don't use bank accounts. How do you tend to tax those people?
I'm not a tax expert and I do not speak for the NRS, but I strongly believe that it is near impossible for you to do
Without
business
bank.
in large volumes in this country right now.
Without
using
having.
bank.
Okay, that
If
one.
What
doing-
about
if
people
you're
that
doing-
collect money internationally and they get it in platforms like Deal or Grey?
If you get that money in Grey, are you going to spend it on Grey? You're going to spend it in Naira.
Do you know in
Yeah,
Nigeria
so I
now,
can-
some people do Bitcoin transactions.
Exactly, and then I
Wait,
can
wait,
change
of
it.
course.
So I don't.
But-
If sorry,
Even as much as
Mr.
buying a car, they pay with
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
So what
Adela-
if I now change? I earn $5,000
What is
in
the
a month,
population
and I
of
change
Nigerians
$100.
See, government can't, even in the most advanced countries, people still find a way to evade taxes.
Tax.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? So it's important for government to tax every single citizen. There will be loopholes here and there, and the system will improve as we go along. But the fact is that these taxes are geared towards engineering a better life for Nigeria.
Yeah.
So let's, see what 2026 brings. If you look at Nigerians that do business, how many of them do business in crypto? Look, I take the three of us as an example. We're Nigerians, we're young Nigerians.
But when it's time to evade tax, people will find way
People
to get
find
to
a
And then by
way.
the time they are defrauded once or twice, they will
Yeah,
come back. to
FCC.
Okay, yeah, every way out also have his own risk
Yeah, of
too.
course.
But then
Yeah.
I thought about another thing again. There are people who do businesses like prostitution. Of course, it is illegal. How do you charge a prostitute? How do you ask a prostitute to pay tax?
No, you're not
Because
gonna-
there are prostitutes
Wait.
that will charge as much as 100,000 in one day.
Wait,
So these
but
people
that-
are supposed to be
that
captured in
money-
the tax net.
That money will be paid into an account.
So how do you know this money is for
So
prostitution
that
and
means
not
the
business?
tax forms, or what do you call them?
Tax
again?
reforms.
No. The people that are in charge of the
Yes.
term.
What?
Of
people-
taxes.
No. The officials that are in charge of sending you a letter to your house. Is it
The official. Okay. Tax inspectors.
tax inspectors, right? Would they? From this question, would they go to every prostitute and ask them how much?
How much are you
make?
making?
No. So you're getting it wrong, right?
It's a joke.
I know. At the end of the day, a lot of Nigerians are going to run into initial problems with these tax laws. Let's be clear about that. So, prostitution is illegal in this country. So
Exactly.
you cannot tax something that is illegal.
Okay.
It's like taxing
419ers.
Yahoo boys or drug dealers. You can't do that. What then becomes a problem, what I say is that if you're running business illegally in this country now, is that you then have what is called dirty money. You have to
Yeah.
find a way
To clean it.
clean that money up and launder it That you know the term. So that's where government can then charge you taxes. We're going to get to a point in this country with these new tax laws. What I envisage happening is that in the next 3-5 years, you will not be able to spend the money that you didn't make legally.
Really?
Yes. That if you make money illegally, you know, in America, in Europe, if you rob a bank, robbing the bank, getting a gun and going to the bank is the easiest part.
Spending
When you
the
get that money
they'll
out of
track
the
it.
bank, spending that money on something worthwhile becomes a huge problem.
Yeah.
Because your salary is $1,000. And then the next day you wake up after robbing a bank, or even in 3 months, even in 2 years, then you go and buy a car worth $70,000. The IRS is going to come and knock at your door for you to
Yeah,
explain
how you got
where you
that.
got that money from. Because if you look at your tax record and it does not indicate that you can afford a $70,000 car. So we're going to get to that point. It's a progression, right? So whoever is doing any business, not just prostitution, any legal business, they're still going to have to find a way to clean that money. Once you pay tax to government, that money becomes legal. You can then spend it. So if you do prostitution now, somebody picks you up on the side of the road, pays you 300,000 or 200,000, whatever it is they pay you. That money comes into your account. The FRS is they're watching you, right? Okay, no problem. Second day, same thing. But one of the invite say, "Come, what business are you doing to be getting
This amount of money.
How many employees? How many employers? How many employees do you have? Where is your company set up?
Now, if they get hold of that kind of person, do you think there's any punishment? Because we say prostitution is illegal in Nigeria, but we see them on the streets.
Yeah, you see, if you see somebody standing on the street, you cannot
Assume.
you are assuming. You cannot prove it in court. That person is there for. You have to catch them
Red
in the act.
Oh.
Yeah, and there has to be, maybe as a police officer, you have to engage that person in conversation and they are eliciting funds in exchange for sexual
Okay.
favor.
Yeah.
Because somebody is standing half naked in the middle of the
Doesn't
road,
mean.
you cannot
Doesn't
prove
mean
that
yes.
they are prostitutes.
Yeah.
Because somebody has dreadlocks.
Doesn't
mean
they
they're
are
Yahoo boys.
It's sexual profiling and you don't want to do
Yeah. So back to the question: tax to GDP ratio being less than or barely 10%. Now the question was: what stops this reform from becoming a more sophisticated way to lose money, or in a
Quicker.
faster rate? Yeah.
Okay. So what you ask is a very brilliant question. If our tax to GDP ratio is less than 10%, it shows that there's a fundamental problem.
Yeah.
If you look at developed countries in this world, that tax to GDP ratio is way higher than that. It means they get more from taxes that they get from their citizens than from most other resource. We depend largely on petroleum.
Yes.
And that's why it's like that. So you're asking how this does not become a faster way to lose money. Now, what government has done is that they have removed a lot of bottlenecks, right? Like I told you, you can pay your taxes online. You can monitor how much you're paying. And then you can go, I believe that you can go to the FRS dashboard and see, and maybe on a quarterly basis, on a by yearly basis, there's a report released by FRS stating, I think they even do it monthly now.
Yeah.
How much FRS has collected as revenue on a monthly basis. Oh, they broke their revenue record this year. Revenue is now 1.something trillion. They will state that. So everybody can tell, oh, the government has made 1.2 trillion. What are they doing with the
Money.
1.2 trillion? How much is the budget? Is it a budget deficit or a budget surplus? We all can tell from the figures. What this drives is responsible citizenry. A citizenship that is more awakened to its responsibility, that are more up to date with information. Like I said when we started this program, I said the basic problem that these tax reforms have is a well up of misinformation.
Yeah.
I give kudos to the FRS for the job that they've done.
They've been going around.
Community engagement,
Yes.
trying to talk to people online, radio, TV. They've done that.
Yeah.
But there is a coordinated attempt at misleading Nigerians
Yes.
as concerning this.
You think it's coordinated?
Yes, it is coordinated.
And it's deliberate.
It's deliberate. It's
Because,
intentional.
because no matter the explanation, we still see a lot of social tension here and there.
It's-
And I saw one tweet, I saw one tweet, and the person said, by next year, you people will learn why description is important in mobile transfer. That is, if you send money now, let's say you send 100,000,
Gift.
and there's no description on it, the taxing system can just imagine, okay, this person has made way more than
What he's
70,000,
supposed to
and this person is supposed to pay tax.
I agree with that. And not just description in mobile transfers, receipts. Because if you go to FRS tomorrow and say, oh, I'm paying rent for 500,000, they're not going to just take it by word of
Agree.
mouth.
Oh.
Yeah, show us
You
the
have to
receipts.
show receipt. As a business, right? If your business goes above 50 million, maybe you're making 52 million, you can still claim tax relief. How do you do that? You can show that 50 million or the 52 million you made is not all profit.
Oh.
The salaries you pay to your staff, there's receipt for it. You bought petrol, there's receipt for it.
Okay.
You paid for power, there's receipt for it. Everything now has to be documented so that FRS, and that's why I say you get to a point where they're able to tell exactly how much you make. So if you claim that if your business makes 50 million and you claim that 30 million naira is expenses for running that business and your profit is 20 million, if you pay tax on 20 million, you'll be able to show receipt for 30 million. Okay. Your profit is 20 million. They tax you on 20 million. You cannot now tomorrow wake up and go buy a 50 million naira house.
Yes.
Because how did you make
you
up
get-
the
yes.
30 million naira?
So how do they track how much influencers make and how do they tax them? Because that's very important.
Influencers are going to be paid in their account now.
So they will see how much is in their account balance
Yeah,
and tell them to pay from it.
No, you would wait. You are expected as a responsible citizen
Yeah.
to come forward to FRS and say, okay, this
is
year
how much I made.
so and so amount. This is my tax. This is how much I'm supposed to pay. There's a tax calculator on the FRS website where you can impute your income and it will tell you exactly how much you're supposed to pay. In tax.
So this one now makes it very simple because when I saw it, I just laughed initially, saying you know the importance of
No,
using
because
description.
things like loans, grants,
Gifts.
and
Yeah.
gifts are not
Taxable.
They're not taxable. So
But how do
Yeah.
you prove that they are loans, grant, or
You
gifts?
describe it
no,
now.
so okay, if somebody who earns 100,000 a month is exempted from paying tax, that person cannot be seen to have transferred a million naira to you as gift.
Yeah.
That means you must have that there must be a business transaction there.
Exactly. So it then means that the person who transfer you a million naira must be somebody who is paying his taxes. So the bulk of the money that person made is 20 million. Government has already taxed that 20 million. How is distribute that 20 million to members of the family? They cannot still get taxed on the money that government has already taxed as a whole. That's why gifts are not taxed because the person has already paid tax on
Already.
You pay tax on your income. If I then decide that
I want to give out money.
I want to give Becca 500,000, government cannot come to Becca again and say after I paid tax on that
money. Yeah.
money, what's left? And I give to Becca. Government now comes and say they want to.
Becca,
I
Becca.
think this way it still shows that description is important.
It's very
Because
important.
let's say now, okay, I am supposed to be exempted from the tax net, and then I send money to Becca. Maybe that money was from you. Say, okay, you and Becca, I just dash you this money and share with among
And that
yourself.
has-
So if I'm sending that money to Becca, I'll put in that description from Mr. Afobade.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that what that thing does is
It saves you.
transparency all the way.
Yeah.
You're asking government for transparency. You also have to be transparent in your own dealings.
I don't think transparency from the side of Nigerians would be the big deal. But holding government accountable. for
Where
their
do you
own
want to start
transparency now,
from?
that's it.
No,
But I
we
even
mu-
want to ask
we
a
must
question.
start.
Yeah.
From somewhere. We must start. Every country that has developed in this world, the citizens have placed a demand. Government has placed a
Yeah,
demand
but
on the
Nigerian
citizens.
government has a way of ignoring us, though, especially when we have like a major outcry. It just seems like people cannot find us in Aso Rock. So what do you want to do?
Nah. Every government feels like that. It's not peculiar to Nigeria. Politics in Nigeria is not unique from what is practiced elsewhere in the world. But if your citizens are responsible and they are doing their bit, it is just natural that you will do your bit. And if you don't, in 4 years' time,
You're out.
They kick you out.
So the government is arguing that the reform will broaden the tax base, increase revenue, reduce the borrowing, and all this area we know. And this outcome will take years, depending on how things are being run. I have two questions. I think our time is fast spent, but I'm going to put two questions in one. Is this genuinely long-term economic restructuring, or is it just revenue extraction dressed as reform? One.
let me answer
Okay.
that. I like what you've asked. This is Nigeria taking a stand to say, if we want development, we must be willing to fund that development ourselves. Like I said when we started this program, every country, every generation, a particular generation in every country has had to shoulder the burden of development of that country. Countries have had industrial revolution, tax revolutions. Unfortunately for Nigeria, or Africa as a whole, when the Western world was fixed on taxation, we were playing around with child gloves. In America and Europe now, you rarely find anybody complain about paying their taxes. They
Yes.
say that 3 things are certain: debt, taxes, and I can't remember the third one now. So they know that your taxes are certain; you must pay.
But then their government is accountable.
Exactly. But their government didn't become accountable in one day. It's a process. So you keep paying, you keep demanding accountability.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you what happens. After a while, by the time our children grow up, they'll be used to paying tax. It's not foreign to them. It's foreign to us because it's starting with us. And that's why there's this pushback. By the time our children grow up, they'll be used to paying taxes. Right? They start paying taxes. Now, our children will also be used to calling government to account.
Yeah.
Because that's what they've known. So whoever is president or governor or senator or reps at that time will have expected that his citizenry will hold
pay
him
tax.
to account.
Accountable, yeah.
And that's how we're going to make that progress. It's not a sprint, it's a long marathon.
Yeah. So what happens if the projected revenue doesn't appear? Do we expect another reform or another levy or another tax on citizens? Or would Nigerians become simply complacent to just what is happening and avoid formal economy altogether?
Again, I'm not a tax guy, but I'll tell you that
Yeah.
I believe strongly in those who have sat down to craft these tax laws. I know they've crunched the numbers. So the federal government presidential tax committee was set up in July of 2023.
Wow.
You know, it's been an 18 or 19 months in the offing for them to come up with these tax reforms. I want to believe that Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, who is the chairman of that committee, and perhaps one of the smartest brains when it comes to taxation in this country, and his team have done an excellent work, working hand in hand with the FRS. I want to believe that they've crunched the numbers to a point where your question, the situation that the scenario you've envisaged in your question will not even happen, where the tax we're collecting does not meet our revenue target. As a matter of fact, even with our porous taxation regime, we are currently outdoing our revenue expectations. Every day, FRA is saying that they are breaking their collection record. And how do they do this? It's technology. I'll give an example. When Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu became president, this is why I'm confident. When he became governor of Lagos State, Lagos was earning a meager 600 million in annual tax.
And he increased that.
Toll gates.
And then he increased the taxes in Lagos.
Yeah.
Right now, Lagos is sitting on about 52 to 53 billion tax every month.
And it's one of the dirtiest cities.
But when we talk about
Again,
population too,
I'll tell you why Lagos is like that. But that's a conversation for
that's the conversation for another day because our time is fast spent.
Again, I hope,
Yeah.
and I'm looking forward to January 2026 with expectation. I'm
Yeah.
pregnant with expectation, hoping that the government plays its part and the citizens also play
because
their part.
generally I don't think Nigerians have a problem with paying tax, but at least let's see what our taxes are.
Adela, I'm
being
sorry,
used
but
for.
I disagree with that. Nigerians want everything free.
Yeah, Nigerians
We
have
want
a
power-
problem.
we want power.
Yes.
Wait, at the point in this country, people were stealing MTN data. There were MTN cheats that they used to use to steal.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
true.
yeah, cheat code. Yeah.
Yes, up till now, people are still bypassing power.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Yes, true.
People go on the train, they don't want to pay. If you enter the train in Lagos or even the Lagos-Ibadan railway, there are people employed to come and check your tickets to make sure that
It's a
everybody
real ticket.
who is on that train paid.
Yeah.
Nigerians don't like to. We like to everything free.
Free.
My
It's
own
unfortunate,
is
but, that
when
mentality has to change.
Nigerians need to be well informed, and when you go to the supermarket and they're trying to tax you on, you know, your fruits,
Groceries.
your groceries, or you go to a pharmacy and they're trying to tax you on that, know your rights. Be educated,
Exactly.
ask questions, and that's the core reason why we brought our OGB our to come and
Please,
educate
please,
you
please.
right now. So just be informed and stand your ground and let people know that you're not supposed to be taxing me for this, so because at the end of the day, they don't collect my money, you know.
They cannot be
greater
paying multiple
ways.
tax.
But why are we
Yeah.
even putting? Why are they putting tax on electricity? So, no.
But wait, electricity is the one that is bothering you.
Yes.
This fuel tax. There is this 5% extra they are charging and minus fuel subsidy removal.
Yeah. Just
Anila,
that.
the 5% on fuel is in conversation. It's not been implemented, and it's not a new law.
Hey,
by
they
this
kukuma
government.
kill us, Philip.
Wait, hold on. It's not a new
Where
law.
you
It's not
go?
a new law by this government. Just to be clear,
Yeah.
it was proposed and adopted by the Jonathan administration in 2013 for Nigerians to pay 5% on
But then there was
above.
fuel subsidy.
Yeah, then there was fuel subsidy. Now they've
subsidy-
removed it. Why
I
is it
think
on
that
it?
Nigerians need to study the issue of fuel subsidy. Fuel subsidy was introduced as a stopgap. It was supposed to be a 6-month thing.
Uh-huh.
And then we ended up using it for 31 years. When I say Nigerians like free things, this is what I mean.
But now that
So,
we're even
Wait,
paying
in
more
what country
fuel,
in the world is fuel cheap?
That's,
we're paying-
that's a
but
big
that's
conversation
fine.
for another
In
day.
what,
But
wait,
me, I'm just
in what
comparing.
country in the world is power cheap?
okay,
Wait,
so if
let's
we're
talk
paying
about
more
fuel.
for the tariff and paying more for the fuel,
Yes.
why are you not putting more tax
Tax
on
now.
it?
What? 5%.
Let's take the UK for instance. The fuel is expensive. They pay for electricity expensively, and they still pay the most expensive tax. But Nigerians are all the way running to the UK. Why? Because infrastructure
Yeah,
is there.
what they are generating as income is more as well.
It then tells
Exactly.
you that,
Their income is more. Yeah.
and the rent is more. You forget that.
Eh.
Healthcare is more expensive.
Oh, Kwano.
But at the end of the day, what you pay as tax, you see the results.
Exactly. So start paying your tax and start asking government to.
Okay.
You want to see
Okay,
it.
thank you so much.
What we're
Thank you
saying is
so
hold
much.
the government accountable.
Absolutely, I'm all for that.
Thank you so much for coming. It's such a pleasure having you again. It's always delightful hearing your perspective on very core issues that affect us as Nigerians. God bless Nigeria. God bless this regime. We
God
look
bless
forward to
Naija
20
Post.
We look
God
forward
bless
to
Mr.
2026.
Afobaje. And God bless our listeners. as well,
January
yeah.
1st, it go begin. God
Get
We're
girl.
going to start paying taxes for this podcast. Don't worry.
Kwano.
Thank you,
Naija
thank you.
Post
Thank you.
Naija Post will pay our tax. So we will not pay again. So
Thank
it's not
you
a double
so
taxation.
Thank you for having me.
much. We're gonna
Pleasure
see
to
you
be
next
here.
week, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good talk. Niger Pulse Podcast. We're signing out.
Bye.